Hi everyone, and welcome back to Cassandra's Plants. Today I'm doing a slightly different video as I want to show you what happens when a Syngonium, so this is a Syngonium white butterfly, gets a bit, I don't know, unhappy, and how to try and figure out what's wrong with it. So I got this one on Etsy a couple of weeks ago and it was doing fine, but then a couple of days ago I noticed that all the bottom leaves were yellowing and just getting a bit crispy and weren't very happy, basically, as you can see. And it's still okay on the top leaves seem fine, it's got new shoots coming through, new leaves popping up, so it can't be that unhappy, but it's still got some bright green leaves at the bottom. So what I'm going to do is have a look for root rot, as the soil is really damp and I haven't watered this for about a week now and it's still really damp, and I think it might be that the pot it's in, so if I take it out, it's too big for the plant. So you can see the bottom of the pot, the cachet pot is dry, so it's just not draining through. So I'm going to take these leaves off, put it in a much smaller pot if it'll fit, and this is just a little plastic one that I've got with a drip tray. See if I can get it to perk up a bit and stop going yellow, and see what happens. Now it might not be the soil, it could be a nitrogen deficiency within the soil, which is quite common for these, I believe, and that can cause yellowing. Overwatering, one of the symptoms of it is normally squishy leaves. As you can see, this leaf isn't squishy. It's soft still, but it's not squishy, and it's very thin and very almost crispy on the edges. So I think it is to do with more likely root rot, but we'll see. So I'm doing this outside, as it's going to be a bit of a messy job, I think, to be doing inside, and we'll just see how it goes. So first of all, I'm going to take off all these effective leaves, and they just fall off pretty much. Yeah, and you can see, look, it looks a bit squishy. So hopefully if we take all these horrible leaves off, we can save it before it gets too far. So here we go. Right, so I'm literally going to put all the soil that I don't want in here, and I'm using a different compost. So this compost I've got here is just Westland houseplant potting mix. I think originally when I got this one I didn't have soil that was specific for houseplants, and I don't really know what the difference is. I think it's just got, so if I turn it around, you can see this one has got water retaining pellets in it, and it's designed for optimum drainage, whereas this soil that I used was like a multi-purpose compost, more for outside plants and for like if you're filling plant beds and stuff. So we'll see how this goes. So I don't want to put it outside. I don't know if you can see here, it does not look good. So I'll try my best to get rid of all of this stuff, and it still looks green underneath. A couple of these, take that leaf off. Yeah, a couple of these don't look too healthy. I don't want to mess about with it too much, but we'll see what the roots look like. So let's take it out. Oh, and it is really damp. And you can see how damp it is, how dark the soil is, and some of it's even stuck to the bottom of the pot. It's that damp. So let's break it up a little bit. Look at this, it's literally just falling apart. Oh, bit of plastic, that's not going to help. Oh, I've not found any roots yet. That is probably not a good sign. So when I bought this, so here we are, some roots. So when I bought this, it come in the post and it was quite squashed flat, like really flat. It was really flattened down, and the roots were like soaking wet. So I did try to just leave it for a day or so, just trying to for it to dry out a bit, but I don't think it's worked, to be honest. So I'm trying to get some of this it's really wet. Just trying to get as much of this mud off. I would spray the mud off, but I really don't want to wet it any more than I need to. So we're getting there slowly. Try not to break the roots. See the roots? I'm not too sure what I'm looking at, but they don't feel that squidgy, and they feel quite firm. So we might be all right. So yeah, that pot was far too big that I had it in. So just trying to clean it off as much as I can. So if it is a mixture of nitrogen deficiency and overwatering, hopefully, I don't think I've lost too many roots, this house potting mix will fix that issue as well. So we'll put some nice dry soil in here. Take it out. So as you can see, this is it's got a lot of, it's a perlite in it with vermiculum and all drainage bits, and it's quite barky, so it shouldn't be too bad. So we'll see. So I'm literally just gonna make a little hole. I might even take a bit out. There we go, it's a bit better. Put it in, stay in, and put it up. So look, there's all sorts in this compost. So just filling the pot up. Hopefully this dry soil will help draw out some of the moisture that was left in that little root ball that was there. And I'm not going to water it in today like I would normally do. I'm going to leave it until tomorrow. Or maybe even a bit later if it feels extra moist. And I'm going to fill this right up to the top to cover up that little bit there. So I really love this white butterfly Syngonium. I don't want it to die. I think the odds with the amount of houseplants that I've got that some of them are not going to survive. But we'll see. So we'll just run through, and it looks a bit better already. So we'll just run through the issues. So if you've got crispy yellow leaves like this, or they're squidgy, it's either a nitrogen deficiency or overwatering, and you need to check for root rot basically. Ideally you want to try and catch it before it gets rotten, which hopefully I've done here, or if it is rotten, take away as much of the roots as you think the plant can tolerate, and then just hope that it will survive. The other thing you can do for a nitrogen deficiency is actually mix in some old coffee grounds in with your soil mixture. So not instant coffee, like real coffee that you would use in a filter in one of those special machines. Once you've used the sachet, mix the used stuff in with the compost, and it will make it more efficacious, and it will hopefully help with the nitrogen in the soil. Or failing that, you can always plant it next to some nitrogen rich plants like peas or beans or anything like that if you've got some of those. So there we go. Hopefully I've saved this plant. Hopefully I've given you a few good care tips on how to look after Syngoniums. Let me know if it's helpful, and or as always, subscribe and give us a like.